Hey everyone, Luke here with another video. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to negotiate more deals through texting. Let's go. Hey everybody, so in today's video we're going to talk about how to negotiate more deals through texting, how to get more deals, and then I'm going to be talking about kind of the psychology of texting and an analogy which all of you will probably get if you've ever had a relationship. So on the screen here I'm going to jump into example number 1. We have Alexis here. Now keep in mind, if some of these seem like the prices are a little bit high, some of these screenshots are a little bit older because I already had them made up in Paint. You can see there's a little bit of a narration off to the left. So let's jump right into it. So Alexis messages and says, I'm interested in this item. So I respond and say, okay, awesome. What did you have for sale? So this is another example, and basically what I did here is short, simple, and positive words like great and awesome. These always help push through the sale, and they keep it moving in a positive and fast manner. So at this point, she says Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. I say, okay, great. Once again, using that keyword, that positive, uplifting word. Okay, great. Any issues with it? She says, just a broken screen. I'll sell it to you for $50. So then I write over here in the narrations, if you sense the customer really wants to sell the phone, I sometimes actually wait maybe 15 to 30 seconds before replying. This keeps the customer actually chasing you and builds a little bit of anxiety or suspense in the customer. So they're going to be sitting there thinking about, what are they going to offer? Do they not want to buy the phone anymore? Which is going to cause them to become more anxious to actually sell you the phone when texting. The nice thing about texting is you're not sitting there on the phone. They can't hear you. They can't hear you breathing. And they can't hear the tone in which you are talking to them either. So they're in complete suspense if they are really in dire need to sell their phone. So I reply here and say, can you still use the phone with the cracked screen, or is the screen discolored or black? Alexis says discolored. But you can still use it. I've been using it, but upgraded. You have to tolerate it. So do you want it? So actually here, I did not reply because the customer's third message is, do you want it? At this point, as I said earlier with the texting psychology, we know that they likely want to get rid of the phone. So at this point, we have the phone and we will likely get it for the price we want. Now I'm going to scroll over here to another screenshot. This is screenshot number 2 of the deal, and this is Alexis once again. So here we go again. I ask, what phone company is it for? Because I've already got the details from those last couple messages. You can see them up here where my cursor is. So I ask one more short question. So now the customer is kind of going crazy, wanting to sell me the phone badly. You can see right over here, she's literally spamming me with messages. So you see how the psychology here, how basically I made her chase me rather than me chase for the deal? So now the customer is going crazy, wanting to sell me the phone badly, and at this point I know I can negotiate the deal, and the power of the conversation is actually in my court. It's completely my ball game. So here, as you can see, she's like, question, Verizon, but it's unlocked. I can make it tonight if you want it. So she's sending me like 4 to 5 messages to my 1 or 0. So which this tells me this customer really wants to sell this phone. So watch these next few texts. I get the customer to agree to the price I want, not that they want. So I get the phone for the price that I want, not that they want. So I message her back and say, honestly, since it's a crack, it's a cracked screen and the LCD is damaged, I can't offer $50. She automatically jumps down $40. So this once again tells me she really wants to sell the phone, because I haven't even said if I will give her $5 less, maybe it's $2 less. She automatically shaves $10 off the price. That's exactly where we want the customers in a perfect texting situation if you do it correctly. So going back to this, I say the best I can do is $20 on it. Now she comes down, she replies, $30. So we've already taken $20 off of this initial price, which is pretty awesome. So what I say here is, in the negotiation, is hold firm on your price, guys. When you have the power in the conversation, you can sense it, hold firm on the price and get it. In this case, I offered $20 and the max I wanted to pay was $30. I ended up getting it for $25 without much struggle. This phone later sold for $69.99. Not a huge profit, but I about tripled my money. So there you go. You can see in the messages here on the screen, $25 is what I offered. She said, deal. What time do you want to meet? Tonight around 7. As you can see, she's still heavily pursuing and engaging in this conversation. There's absolutely no way she's backing out of this deal. She's not going to be a no-show because I have made her chase me with the texting psychology and the scripting and the magical words that I said to her. This is what texting is all about. There is no such thing necessarily as a script. What I call it is texting psychology. See, if somebody gives you a script and you run into a situation where the script doesn't work, you're not going to understand how to negotiate or win that customer over via text. That's why in my Phone Flipping Academy course, I teach people what I call texting psychology, which teaches you the sales behind texting and the psychology of it, which basically means no matter what situation, what kind of items being sold, or what kind of customer you're dealing with, you will always know the right things to say or to text and how to go about the conversation. And that's why I refer to it as texting psychology, because there really is a psychology to texting. It's much different than talking to somebody face to face or talking to somebody over the phone. Texting or messaging is completely different. Let's jump over to another screen here. I'm just going to show you guys how easy it is to close people over text once you know the psychology behind it. And then I'm going to relate to what I said earlier in the video about how to relate what texting psychology is to all of you. I mean, you're all going to relate to this if you've ever been in a relationship. So here we go again. Also, this is, I guess, another screenshot. I didn't know there was a third one. So 720 is fine, I told her. And she says, what about a crack iPhone 5C? It's effed, as you can see. She says there, I didn't want to say profanity in my video. So how much for that one? And an Android, same as others. So now that I was nice, this is another key thing to texting psychology. I forgot that I actually had this third screenshot. This deal was a little while ago. So I was nice to this girl, and so I got the S7 Edge for 25 bucks, which I said in the last picture it sold for $69. But now I find out that she has an iPhone 5 also. She brought this, and I ended up paying $10 for it. It wasn't cracked bad, and I sold it for $40. So this deal turned out to be $100 or so profit, and it was not hard at all. As you can see, what I did now that I know that she's kind of on her seat, has anxiety, wants to sell her phones, I messaged her and said, just bring them and I can appraise all of them for you. Now, there's a key reason why I said just bring them and I can appraise them all for you. I already know the customer's coming for the one deal. Now, you and I both know, or you should know, that texting has a lesser closing rate, even if you're perfect at texting, than it would if it was over the phone or in person. The reason why pawn shops get so much business is not because they offer great prices or that their employees are really all that great at sales or negotiations. Same goes for car dealerships. The reason why they get so much business is because when a person is there in person, spending their time to actually meet up, they are around 80% more likely to sell or be sold when it's face-to-face, in person, and you can hear the tone. You have much more control over the situation. So that being said, then she messages and says, okay, you take flip phones too. That was too far for me, so I said, not really, just isn't any resale in the item. Even though she offered junk though, I was still nice and to the point. Never degrade a customer, even if it makes you chuckle. If it makes you laugh, that's fine, do it behind the scenes. Don't ever degrade your customer, especially not to their face, because the customer isn't trying to be rude to you by offering you a flip phone. They just don't simply know that it's not really worth anything. So going back to some of the narrations that I have here off to the left on the screen, short, positive words are key. So if you use short positive words, basically always be professional and nice, and people will open up to you about other potential stuff after you gain trust or gain control in the conversation. So anyway, she said, okay, then I have 2 for you. I said, awesome, 720 still good then. She said, yes. I said, sounds good. What Burger King? There are 2 in Chippewa. This is back when I lived in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, town of 13,000 people. But as you can see, this is the end of the deal. She was closed on it, and there we have it. So $100 profit, simple texting, didn't take me that long. It's just all about saying the right things and knowing how to react to certain situations and personalities. That's the psychology of texting. I've got another deal here lined up for you that I can show you real quick. This is a Note 5. So this guy messaged to one of my marketplace ads. As you can see, it was January 11th, and he said, how much will you pay for a Galaxy Note 5? So I say, hey Justin, what phone company is it for? The reason why I always say phone company is because when you say carrier, some people don't know what carrier means, believe it or not. So Justin says Sprint. Now what I say here is I actually say, okay, great, any issues with it? Now, the reason why I use the word great, kind of previously what I said in the other slides, is because it's a positive word. Short but sweet and simple. It keeps the experience positive for the customer, as they may already feel regret of selling their phone, especially if they're selling it cheap or you come at them with a lowball offer. So this is a really good example on how to close someone via text. Customers are like cats. Basically, do not overtalk the deal or you will lose them. Have you ever tried running up to a cat you don't know? Typically, they run away. So basically, let the customer come to you when it comes to texting. Reply with short, positive words. Do not text long paragraphs or bore them to death. So that being said, continuing on in the conversation here, Justin says, no issues, no cracks or dents, still looks brand new. So I say, okay, great. Got the box or anything? So once again, asking short, simple questions right to the point. At this point, the customer is engaging a bit more. This is exactly what we want. So sometimes it's harder to get the upper hand in the customer or have the power in the conversation, but it can be done just like I said. Do not overtalk the deal. Engage with the customer on the same level they engage you. Notice that he was actually being short, so I was being short back, but in a positive, nice way. As you can see, now the messages are starting to get longer. And you'll see that as we scroll through this conversation. So he says, no box, got rid of it over a year ago. Now, this tells me that the phone's really probably not all that new because he's had the phone over a year ago, so he kind of contradicted himself here. He said, I just moved to Wisconsin Sunday. I might still have it, but I haven't completed my move, so there's possibility I still have everything. Finally, the customer comes in with more engagement here and opens up a bit. This is great. This is what we want. Now we have all the info we need to actually make them an offer. So here's where I'm once again short, picking up on his anxiety, his anxiousness, and the psychology of him just being like, I want this phone gone, I need to sell it. So I say, all right, I can offer you $60 cash for that. Justin says, okay, that's perfect for me. Boom, he's closed. He was literally closed in 1, 2, 3, 4. Closed him in 4 messages, and the deal is basically done. So customer took the offer. In this specific example, I met and got the note, and it was in very nice shape. This same phone sold for $159.99 that night. And I actually remember this deal. It was pretty crazy. I picked that phone up for $60, and then I ended up selling it that night, listed it at home for $159. Still think to this day I listed a little bit too cheap, but it was gone that night, and I was super happy with it. So that being said, I just kind of wanted to show you guys how to negotiate through deals via text messaging, how to close more deals, a little bit of the psychology on texting, and then last but not least, as promised in the start of the video, I'm going to tell you guys how to relate texting and how all of you will be able to relate to this. So if you've ever had a relationship, think of it like this. If you are a guy, ask yourself, have you ever tried to pursue a female that just didn't give you any attention, didn't give you any time of the day, and when she did reply to you, it was very short? And what did you probably do? You probably wrote her back a big, long, sappy message, and then she wrote you back a short message. So you were chasing her, and because of that, you never got her. Okay, you didn't create any suspense, any curiosity, any mystery, any anxiety, and you have to think about psychology in texting the same way. If you have a customer, and this goes for ladies as well, if you've ever pursued a guy and you've had that same situation happen where you've given them a lot of attention, they gave you none back, it's the same thing when texting a customer or messaging them. If a customer messages you with a short, say, maybe like 4 or 5 word message them back with the same short message. If the customer is sending you long, engaging text messages, then send them back a medium, engaging text message. You never want to over pursue them. You always want to be the one in control of the texting situation. Kind of like in a relationship, the one that always loves the other one more is always in less control, because the one that's kind of more dominant or more alpha or more just basically kind of keeps to themselves, although they may care the same amount, it kind of translates the same exact way back to texting and sales, because you never really have the power. So if you can switch the conversation to your court, kind of like I did in these 2 scenarios, you can get the phone for what you want it for, not what they want it for. So it's just like relationships when it comes to chasing people. Don't chase the customer. Now, if the customer is sending you short messages and let's just say, they take 10 minutes to reply, well, when you read their message, also take 10 minutes to reply. Believe it or not, it's like I said, the same thing with relationships. If you've ever had somebody who's a constant texter who texts you back almost instantly and you wait 10 minutes to reply to them, guess what happens when you wait 10 minutes and send them a message? boom, as soon as they read it, they reply instantly. You wait another 10 minutes, then they start sending you 2 messages at a time, or they start sending you longer messages. You kind of got to win the customers over with texting psychology, and you got to be smart about it. It's a little bit different than talking to somebody in person or on the phone. You kind of got to make them want to sell you the phone for the price that you want, not the price that they want. And this is how it's done. By using these short, positive sentences, by saying the right things, understanding the psychology of texting, and then on top of that, actually basically mirroring the customer's personality. So like I said, once again, if it's short messages, do short messages back. If they take a while to reply, take a while to reply. If they're sending you, long, meaningful, engaging messages, do something similar. Don't go overboard, but basically mirror their personality 100%, and you will never fail at closing people through texting. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to close every single deal, but I guarantee you your closing rate will go up if you follow the things that I just mentioned and showed you in this video. So that being said, I know a lot of people have been having problems with this. I hope this helps you. Hope it brings some value to you. These screenshots, by the way, are actually directly out of my Phone Flipping Academy course. This is the kind of stuff that I teach inside my course. So if you like this kind of stuff and you are curious about it, send me a message. My course is always there. It's helped a lot of people. And I really hope that if you are struggling with texting or you're just not good on the phone, I really hope that this does help you and that it brings you guys some value. So make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.